Hi, this is Melanie of Pardesi. Wait and see if anybody joins. Hi, this is Melanie Pardesi. I'm doing a test of Streamyard, new software for me to do live stream. So I can see there's a whole two people watching. Um, if you can leave a comment, that would be awesome. So if I can see how that's working. So I'm looking forward to doing a big live, scheduled live on Sunday. Um, So yeah, it's 5 years. It's kind of crazy. 5 years and 1,000 videos. Pretty crazy. But what a long, crazy journey it's been. Okay. Live. We're supposed to be able to see comments, but nothing is coming through. So if you're sending any, sorry, I can't see anything yet. So that's why I'm doing a test because I can't. I want to make sure everything's going to work smoothly for Sunday. So it is it's 10 in the morning here in Chicago. I saw a Malayalam film last night, Malayan Kunju with Fahad Fazil. So I'm going to be posting oh, great, a first comment. Thank you. Sort of clips and videos. um, so I am going to be posting a review of that Fahad Fazil film later today. It was a really tense thriller. I didn't even watch the trailer. I didn't know what to expect, and it was. I just knew it had something to do with cast, which his character is a little bit prejudiced, and then things happen. During the second half, I didn't. Like they hint within the movie that there's going to be a landslide, so I knew that was going to come. But wow, it was really tense. It was sort of like that movie 127 hours or whatever it was, where the guy had to cut off his own arm to get out of the, where he had gotten stuck in the cliffs. So yeah, it was crazy. But anyway, so I'm really pleased that Malayalam films are starting to play at my local theater, which is great. Uh, it's There was one theater in Chicago that reliably played them, and it's been closed during the pandemic and never reopened. And I used to have to travel like 40 minutes on the highway to get to that. So now it's only 5 minutes away, but there's not as many Malayalam films. And I was like, well, I don't even need to see the trailer. It's Fahad Fazil, right? Like I'm gonna go. Like when I saw it was only one showing a day, but when I saw it was coming, I'm like, oh yeah, I can't miss this. So I haven't seen Ranbir Kapoor's new film. Has anybody seen that? Is it any good? Because I've seen very, yeah, not so great reviews of that coming out. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm not gonna rush to see that. I don't know, but I don't know. I'm just curious if anybody else has had a chance to see that because I don't know. It's just kind of getting people. Hey, Kiara, thank you for posting. Dash, thanks for posting. Thanks for the congrats. Kiara says Shumshare is not worth it. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling, but I don't know. So something exciting is going to happen today. My youngest son's girlfriend, her name is Shannon, and she's never seen an Indian film today. And today she's coming over and she's going to see RRR with me. She asked me, she's like, "Yeah, maybe I'll come see that with you." So I'm super excited to show her that film. I cannot believe the response that RRR is getting. Like I've been following the topic on Twitter and more Hollywood people are posting about it. Like it's their first Indian film ever. You can tell. Veenu Gopal, thank you. Thank you from Hyderabad. So it's their first, and it's just amazing the reaction because they're used to I don't know. They're used to Marvel films. I mean, some of these are people who create Marvel films, like the screenwriter for Dune. Like all of these kind of people have been um, watching, and they. I don't know. It's just like they're, for me, for us, right, who we regularly watch Telugu films and Indian films, we're like, yeah, this is the way it is, and they're like, and it has a dance number, a dance off. I'm like, yeah. So Vikram also, yeah, that's another good film. I agree with you, Prithvi, but she specifically requested our which I made her, made my son, her boyfriend, watch. So I think because she wanted to be able to talk with him. When it was my birthday, I said for my husband and my son, I was like, "You're gonna sit down and watch this," because I had made them watch. I had made them watch the Bahubali films. So, they have seen other Rajamouli films and they know a little bit about that. But I agree with you, Vikram would be another good one. But anyway, I mean, RRR just, it's funny, the Hollywood community and how they're reacting to how it's just nonstop. Like every 10 minutes, there's something amazing, right? Like we have Ram's introduction, which my jaw was on the floor. I mean, I only wish that Shannon could see it on IMAX like I did. Like, it was incredible on the big screen. Oh my gosh. In some other areas of the United States, if you weren't aware, there's Josh Hurtado on Twitter. He's had a long relationship with Rajamouli, and so with certain theaters in the U.S., they're bringing it back to the theater. I mean, obviously, it was here in the spring. That's when I saw it, but there's such a demand for people who have seen it on Netflix in the and all that's available is the Hindi dub. They're not even watching the Telugu. Believe me, I'm going to show Shannon the Telugu because I'm subscribed to Z5 just for that. And so they want to watch it on the big screen, and so it's actually coming back to some theaters, and they're having special screenings of it, but not in my town, unfortunately. But I would love to go see it on the big screen again. So, any questions for me? This is not going to be a super long live, but I just wanted to test out this new software. It's a broadcasting thing called Streamyard. And I stopped doing lives because I wear bifocal glasses. You notice these are different glasses. Because I finally realized if I just put on, like, these are cheap drugstore reading glasses, that I can read the comments, because otherwise with my bifocals, I was like holding my head at this weird angle. And so it looked really funny when I was on. To me, it looked horrible when I was trying to do a live before. I tried to read the comments and like tilting my head in a weird way. So, I felt so awkward doing them. Also, I want to let you guys know that I am going to. Hey, Rex, it's so good to see you. For those that don't know, Rex, who just commented, is my favorite subtitlist. She subtitles Tamil films. She did the second Bahubali film for the Tamil version. She does Vijay's movies. She did Vikram. And we have become friends, if you haven't gathered that. But I'm hoping she's coming to the US next month, and I'm hoping to see her. And yeah, that's one of the amazing things about this channel is the friends that I've gained along the way. I was just thinking about how many people I interact with on Twitter because of my love of Indian cinema, because of just all this conversation that we have about everything. There's so many amazing people, so many really close friends that I've made. Yes, I consider internet friends close friends because I talk to them every day. Like that Vicky girl, if you're familiar with her, she and I, like, we chat every day. Which, like, how else would I have met her in real life, right? And so it's just an amazing thing. What little productions have you recently watched, ma'am? So, Prithvi, I don't know when you came in, but I just talked about seeing the recent Fahad Fazil film Malian Kunju, which is playing here in Chicago. And so I saw it last night, and I'll be editing that review and posting it later today. It was a really tense thriller, really tense. I didn't see the trailer. I didn't know what to expect. And wow. So another tour de force by Fahad Fazl, but then Oh yes, Gargi. Yes, thank you, Riggs. Gargi was a recent. I actually watched the Telugu version, but the original is Tamil. But Sai Pallavi dubbed herself for the Telugu version. As we all know, she's done many Telugu films as well. And if you're a fan of my channel, if you watch my channel, you know what a fan of Sai Pallavi I am. So I saw her recent film with Rana Dugabati, which was okay, but Gargi, oh my gosh, so good. So good. So, and it has a woman, there's a team of cinematographers, Prem, Krishna, and Shriyanti. So it has a woman cinematographer as part of the team. I just saw a clip yesterday on Twitter. I think I retweeted it that Sai was specifically calling out how great the cinematography team in making it such a great film, and I totally agree with her. There was just so many little flourishes and touches in that film, Gargi. So if you haven't seen that, that's probably one of my favorites that I've seen recently. I don't think we can call Rocketry a little film. I'm looking forward to Rocketry finally coming on streaming when it does, because I saw the Tamil version, and when Madhavan made the film, he made it in multiple languages. He even made it in English, which is crazy, but he made a Hindi version, and then like in the film, his character Nambi is being interviewed. And so in the Tamil version, it's Surya it's on streaming now. Okay, I'll have to look for it. Thanks, Race. And then Shah Rukh Khan was the interviewer for the Hindi version. And so I went to see the Tamil because I know that's Maddie's home language. And Rakes, of course, did the subtitles for Rocketry as well. I can only imagine with all of that technical gobbledygook language that must have been. Yeah, Amazon Prime. Okay, I will look for that. I haven't been on Amazon Prime in a hot minute, so I will. I will go. I don't know. Amazon Prime is not necessarily my go-to every day. It's like most of the stuff I want to watch is on Netflix. I'll be honest with you. So yeah, if you guys didn't notice, like what I had become obsessed with during. Oh, The Legend is another one. Okay. I don't know if it's coming. I will look for The Legend. So let me know if that's coming to theaters, and I will look for that when it's coming. So releasing Thursday. Okay, I will look. They do on Wednesday is when I can see for certain what. So tomorrow I'll be able to see what for certain on the theater listings. They don't really finalize it until the Wednesday of the week, and then I will then I'll be able to tell if some of these Indian films are in fact coming to my theater, which is how I saw Malayan Kunju was coming to my theater. So it's like sometimes it's not easy for me to search to see what is actually coming until it's here. So and then, but I make my plan. Okay, so the other thing I was saying is that coming up in August, I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break. Maybe I will pre-record some classic movies or something. But if there's hot movies that come out in the middle of August, I'm going to be traveling, and I'm not going to be able to. I will feel amputated if Melanie doesn't review my labors of love. Okay, well, I'll get around to it eventually if I don't do it opening weekend. But anyway, so there may be a little bit of a break in August, which is part of why I decided, okay, I'm going to do it at big and do this live this weekend before I am traveling. So yeah, I know, I know you'll miss me. Okay, so I just wanted to do kind of this short little live to test out this software. If anybody has any questions, there's not a ton of people here, but let me know. I'll wait a couple more minutes. I know I've only been on 15 minutes. It feels like it's been longer. Anybody have any questions? I feel like Vikrant Rona and Ramarao are on duty releasing this weekend. On duty. Maybe Vikrant Rona is best among those. Okay. I will look for those films and see if any of them are playing. Vikrant Rona. Okay. It's 2 votes for that. Okay, so I would definitely look for that. Um, I feel like I've been out of pocket a little bit and I'm not like totally on the ball on everything that is coming out. I need to kind of research what the upcoming schedule of films are. I mean, I know some of the ones that are coming, like Brahmastra and whatever that are coming later in the fall. What is your favorite movie you watched in recent times? Um, I would have to say Gargi, even though it's on a dark subject matter. Gargi was a film that really touched me, and Sai Pallavi's her performance was just so sublime and so fantastic that that's the one that I would really, really recommend. But I have to be honest, like in Hindi films, I enjoyed Gangubai. And it's just not, I know people have been complaining that I haven't been reviewing as many Hindi films, but I just kind of feel like Bollywood is going through some kind of slump or something. Like I haven't been as captivated. I haven't been as captivated by not only what's coming out, but when I've seen it, I just haven't had kind of that wow feeling about it. I mean, I just think back to other films that just totally captivated me. And yeah, I mean, and RRR, of course, is the other one. If your recent includes Back to the Spring, of Telugu films, probably that's my film of this whole 2022 that just really captivated my imagination and just it's everything. Like it's Rajamouli is just everything. And if you know the story of my channel, it's because I was so my very first Telugu film that I ever watched was the first Bahubali film. A neighbor said, "Hey, I've heard this is kind of good. You want to go?" And I'm like, "Okay." And then we're like $20. Like if you don't know, that's a really like twice the normal ticket price. And I'm like, "This better be worth it." And of course, it was totally worth it. And then I was all excited to see the second Bahubali film, and I saw it first day, first show on IMAX, and that's I was in contact with the Bali Fools people, and they were the guy from there was going to see the second show, and he's like, "Can I get your reaction for the channel after seeing the first screening? Can you do And so we met, and just like that 15-minute between the showings or whatever, we just met, and he was just like, "Wow, you were able to just do a spoiler-free review just like that. Do you want to join the channel?" So it's all because of Rajamouli that all of this 5 years has happened. And I've watched most of Rajamouli's films, not all of them yet, but sometimes it's hard to get some of his very early films with subtitles. But I've watched most of his films, and I'd say Mani Ratnam is my favorite Indian director overall, but of Telugu films, Rajamouli. Yeah. So anyway, RRR was just not, while it's not perfect for me, you know how I am. I like to have women. There's not really strong women in that movie. Okay. It's a bromance. It's what it's all about. Okay. But, I prefer that there would be some strong women characters in a film. So that's one knock against it compared to the Bahubali films. But anyway, RR I've seen the most times this, and like I said, I'm seeing it again today because I'm showing Ben's girlfriend Shannon RR today. So Rake says I'm bang on about Bollywood. Yeah, I'm not the only one that's saying it, right? Like there's something. I am not like Akshay Kumar. I feel like is doing too many films, and the kind of films that he's making, I'm not really interested in seeing. And I don't know. There's something going on there where they just kind of are losing their way. And I feel like I'm so glad that through all of you, I've been watching more and more Southern films, and that's where it's at for me. I mean, I really enjoy films from the South right now a lot more. There's only 9 people on. So if anybody else has a question, yeah, I didn't really do like last year also was a weird year, right? Because it was still pandemic, and I wasn't going to the movie theater. So many Indian films were delayed, and we were getting weird streaming, straight to streaming, like those anthologies, and um like See You Soon that Fahad Fazil did, and like just I don't know, it just was kind of a weird year, and I didn't even bother doing a best of 2021 the same way that I had done previous years. I just yeah. Like, I suppose I could try to sort of think of some best of that would be something I could do for the Sunday Live, but I don't know. It was like sort of an asterisk year, like where it just wasn't it just, it just wasn't up to but I just kind of feel like even so Bollywood hasn't found its footing since then. But whereas some of the much delayed um southern films, I mean like Pushpa was awesome, and some of these that are been coming out, and this film that I just saw, like Malayan Kunju, I don't know if it was delayed or just made during COVID times, but this, I know Fahad Fazil hasn't had a film in the movie theater, I think, for like 2 years. He did quite a few films to streaming, but like Malik and so forth. But this was, I think, his first one on in the theater. So that was a treat. So anyway, I mean, I'm hoping. I don't know about Brahmastra, and I'll just be honest with you. Like, I just don't know. I don't know if that's gonna be, if it's gonna be worth the wait that we've been waiting all this time. Uh, my gripe about her so Hulu Man, you know what? Her signature style is to rhyme the songs. So you definitely know. So just imagine as you're someone who's reading the subtitles, like sometimes they do differentiate and make them italics or something to separate, to let you know that this is the song lyrics and it's not dialogue or whatever. I always know it's the song when Rakes is doing a subtitle of the film, because she rhymes it in English. She makes it work. So Georgie says, Assorted Cliff says it's going to be a disaster. I assume you're talking about Brahmastra. Georgie, really feel astonished for your efforts to deep dive into Indian films. Um, yeah, I mean, I try to, like, Georgia, my creations, my model is the late Roger Ebert. So I grew up in Chicago, and he had all the, his long career was from public television, and he was, he created like the thumbs up with Gene Siskel and Ebert. And I think about when he would talk about films, or he would talk about upcoming films, and he would give the kind of, this is a debut director, or this is a rematch of this actor and actress, or whatever. Like, that's the kind of that's the kind of information I would want to know. So that's the kind of information that I make sure that I'm including when I talk about a film. Which, yeah, I mean, I have watched literally, I haven't counted lately, but I mean, maybe 700, 800 Indian films. So I had a Facebook post that come came up as a memory. So I actually know about, it's about this time in 2014 that I watched DDLJ, like, was the beginning of July. And then I posted watching, I had just watched Doom 2 or something like that. I watched a horrific movie. So I know I started with Shah Rukh Khan. I watched DDLJ, and then I watched Rabdi Bani Jodi, and then it kind of expanded out. And like I said, then I started watching Mani Ratnam films, which got me into Tamil, and went on and on and on from there. So have I seen Garuda Gamana? No, I haven't seen that one yet, but we'll look into that one. But I really enjoy the Southern films, and so to me, everything I'm watching with subtitles, so there's no barrier for me as long as I can find it with subtitles. There's no, it's all the same to me, because I'm not trying to make out. So when I go to theaters, which language films are usually packed with crowds? Which language has the biggest crowds? I mean, I would say the biggest crowds I've experienced going to a Rajnikant film, first day for show, is always fun. I'm thinking pre-pandemic, And the other thing that Hulu Man, the other thing that's different is that because I don't have a regular kind of job, I could go see a matinee show during the day. So sometimes the very first show might be at 10 in the morning or 11 in the morning. And so you can imagine that's not going to be necessarily the biggest crowd. Um, like I mean, a big Hindi release would be a packed theater, but it's interesting. Maybe not so much lately, but definitely RRR. That was a big. I saw that. I think during I saw the first show that I could, and it was IMAX, and there were definitely crowd of people there for that too. Georgia Creations, good to communicate with you. Let's see. Thought there was another question. Yeah. So, for me, it's interesting because I've talked to Rakes about how people can see subtitled films. So for me, there's not that barrier, and she says that it's in some locations that there might only be one showing a week or something where they show, for instance, in an area that normally is Telugu speaking, that they might show a Tamil film with subtitles, right? So, but here, uh, my town has such a population of South Asians that it's so they show Hindi, Telugu, Tamil, now occasionally Malayalam, and only the biggest Kannada films. Like I was able to see 777 Charlie, KGF, I was able to see in theaters, but it's not a regular thing to have Kannada films. And so that's why I don't review them as consistently. It's only the biggest ones because that's all that comes. But I do feel like even Indian audiences, because of the pandemic, because people started to watch more streaming, I feel like then they had those subtitles or those dub versions or whatever more readily available, and people are more willing to cross over and see something from a different industry. And each one to me has a different flavor. So I can't really say, well, this one is best or Malayalam is best. I mean, that's not the way I think about it, but I feel like each has a different flavor. So Malayalam is to me, because they have such small budgets and whatever it's so concentrated on the story and fine acting, but everything is about the script. It reminds me of independent cinema kinds of things that I would see at the Sundance Film Festival or something. Telugu is just big wow. Like I don't know. And I just kind of miss the way Bollywood used to be. And I'm, because I've watched a lot of classic Hindi films, and I don't know, I just feel like the magic that was there of some of the films that I started to watch when I was watching, older films, it's just kind of not there right now. And I don't know if it's that the stars, we haven't had a Shah Rukh Khan film in how many years? I'm a Shah Rukh Khan fan. I've seen 58 Shah Rukh Khan movies. Okay, so like I am so waiting for this slate of upcoming films. I'm glad he took his break, but Patan. Okay, so we have Anurag asking, what inspired you to open this channel, and what is the category of a movie that you can watch anytime? Well, I can watch almost, the only genre that I don't seek out is horror, like horror, like as far as like something like the Saw films or something like that. Okay, I don't that is just not my, that's not my thing. But I'm pretty open to watching any kind of Indian film, and I've been expanding more and more. So what inspired me to open is this, somebody suggested it to me. So there was a guy, Kartik, who was a behind the scenes helping the Bollyfools channel. So this is, over 5 years ago. And like I'm repeating this story, but anyway, you came in late. It was because of Bahubali 2. He asked me, I saw it first day, first show, and he's like, can I interview you? Can you give a quick spoiler-free review? And I was able to do that. And I was able to do it just like that. He's like, have you ever thought about being YouTube? I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. Why would I be on YouTube? Here we are, 5 years later, 39,000 subscribers later. So no, and I'll be honest with you because obviously, I'm not a very skinny person. I felt like people would be cruel. I felt like people would be no one would want to listen to me because I'm this white lady. What do I know about Indian films? I don't know. And I was very ignorant 5 years ago. I cringe at the way I pronounced certain things. And I mean, it's been a learning process, right? So, um, I'm not in it for the money. Like, there are other channels that I won't mention their names that I sort of feel like they got into the space of reacting to Indian trailers just for the money of it. And I am not making this is a labor of love. This is not something that um this is not something I'm doing for money. Now I am being paid for by ABP Desham. That's the amazing thing that's happened in the last year, doing those classic Telugu reviews. It's a modest amount, but I enjoy it. I enjoy my conversations with Harsha about these old movies from the 50s and 60s. It's really fun. What happened to the Bollyfools guys? I think I agree with you. I mean, number one, they both had real full-time jobs. Okay, like this was just something, and I think it became a struggle for them to do do the demands of the channel when they had to meet together to do it, and they started having to travel for the jobs. And I also think they got so much attention it became uncomfortable. Like people were finding their personal Facebook pages and stuff like that, and I just think it became, and I'm sorry that they're gone because I really enjoyed their channel. One of them joined another podcast that's like called Talking at the Movies or something, but he's talking about like Marvel films and stuff like that. Like he's talking about Hollywood stuff. He's not talking about Bollywood anymore because that's what the other guys talk about. So it's other friends of his in London, and they do that podcast together. So but to be honest with you, I haven't checked it out lately. I don't know if they're still doing it, but that's what he was doing immediately after Bollyfools. Thanks for letting me know that Garuda Gamana is on Z5. Let's see. Hulu Man says RRR will be nominated for at least one Oscar. I am not going to bank on that. Okay, like if you didn't know, not just Jobby, but if you didn't know, I am also a huge Oscar buff. Like that is my World Cup, my Super Bowl, I before the pandemic, I would hold a big party every year. I'd hold a contest. And I follow the Oscar race through the whole year. There's a website called Awards Daily, so the kind of film that is an Oscar film is changing. And definitely there is starting to be, because they are asking more people to the Academy. Like, for instance, Kajol and Surya were invited to be part of the Academy this year. Awesome. But possibly it could be nominated for a technical award. A technical award meaning VFX, editing, sound design, something like that. But I'm just being bold. I'm just being honest with you that I just think that there is and it's not it's wrong because I don't feel this way, but I think people look down on Indian cinema, the kind of intelligentsia, filmy kind of people that are part of the Academy that would actually nominate the film for the Oscars. And I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just, and it's such a clicky, clubby thing. Like people nominate things that their friends worked on. I mean, it's an industry thing. So it's not necessarily what the popular people would vote for. I don't know. And also you have to put a lot of money behind a campaign. And I'll be honest with you, the way Indian films have been, only really Lagan had a decent Oscar campaign back in the day. And the kind of films that they're nominating from India to be that one film that would be nominated for the foreign language, it's not necessarily the kind of film that the other Academy members would vote for. So Hulu Man, you're right. It's getting amazing attention, so we'll see. But I'm just telling you, like in the fall is where kind of the whole Oscar movies are released, and then we'll see. How long did it take for you to get used to the songs and dance in Indian films and the rapid tonal shifts which you don't see in Hollywood film? That is a great question. Okay, the tonal shifts, that was that was like whiplash for me, and the whole interval structure. You know how you kind of have that big thing that happens, and then the interval like it was a completely different rhythm for me. I'm completely used to it now, and I prefer it, to be honest with you. Like I'm watching an English film, like, where's my hour-long backstory? Like, I want to know what led to this. Why aren't we getting an hour-long flashback so I know? Like, but the musical numbers, that's what really sucked me in because I love musicals. Hollywood very rarely makes musicals, and that was one of the main appeals to me is all the musical dance numbers that were in Hindi films when I first started watching. So I know Indian audiences sometimes roll their eyes at how many dance numbers and songs are in films. I'm like, give me more, give it all to me. I want all of that. Hulu Man is pointing out Stardom wasn't nominated because British people might be offended. I don't know if that was the reason, but I think that there's certain Malayalam films that might have had a better chance than some other films that have been nominated just because they have sort of that independent cinema kind of feel. I think like Kumbalangi Nights or something like that might have really crossed over. And I don't know. Approved V, I think you're right. They're going in the right direction and gaining. I can't even tell you random people, friends of mine who have messaged me, hey, we saw RRR. We just, it came up on Netflix and we watched it. What else should we watch next? I'm like, I've just been, it's crazy. So people are not only just watching it and saying, hey, RRR is really good, but they, it's like they want more after they see it. And I'm like, well, let me tell you, I've got a whole list for you. Do I have any plans to act in Hollywood? No. Judi Dench. Okay, that's a huge compliment. Thank you. No, if you didn't know, I did executive produce a movie. It's called How to Tell You're a Douchebag. It's an African American rom-com. And it premiered at Sundance. So that is like a huge thing. Like I saw my name on the screen at a film festival. So that was that was an amazing moment of my life. And it still makes me laugh that I'm going to have it in my obituary that the word douchebag, like if my great aunt couldn't see me now. Jay says the music numbers in some of these films remind me of the big Hollywood musical numbers of the 30s. Absolutely. So I was a huge fan, Fred Astaire. Oh my God. I watched almost all of Fred Astaire's films, Fred and Ginger, and that's exactly what they remind me of. That just, we're going to break out in song, we're going to express our feelings in music, we're going to dance together, it's going to be romantic, all of that. Give it to me, all of it. Vishnu, I'm so sorry you've been unwell. I have missed seeing your comments. So thank you for the congrats. Light Yagami 4, thank you for the compliment as well. This has been such a journey, and a lot of it is the conversations and the regular commenters like Vishnu that I see. Vishnu, I just so you know, I have missed you, and there's just regular people that comment almost every video, or if it's certain languages that I cover, if it's the Telugu or it's the Malayalam or whatever, and I do cherish these conversations that we've had over the time. Hussein, you know what? This StreamYard thing is is a lot easier than the way that I was trying to do before. And if you came in late, you didn't hear the story of I finally figured out if I just put on regular reading glasses, it's easier instead of my bifocals. I don't look like holding my head at a weird angle to try to read all the comments as they come in. I felt like I looked so ridiculous. So, good question. How is the pricing of an Indian film compared to a normal film in America? Yes, it can be expensive. Now, Hindi films are basically priced exactly the same as a Hollywood movie. And so here in the United States, we have what's called matinee prices. So basically, a film before 6 p.m. can be almost half price. Now, Telugu films are here, and I don't know if it's the same in India, but it is based on how big the star is. That to me, when I walk up to the ticket counter, I never know how much, and I'm like, okay, this guy's only. So, for instance, the recent Thank You movie with Naga Chaitanya was $12. It didn't matter what I saw that one at 10:30 in the morning, so definitely during the day, and it didn't matter. I didn't get I had to pay. It's called a special event price, and that was $12. Now, a Rajamouli film, the second, the most I ever paid for a film was what? So an IMAX film here is an increased price, or if it's a 3D film. So the most I ever spent on a film was seeing the second Bahubali film, first day, first show, IMAX was $40. Completely worth it, but that's insane. Okay, like $40. And but a typical Telugu movie with a pretty popular actor will be like $20. And Tamil films, normally they don't have, like I said, the discount during the day, but it's, I don't know, around $13 or so. So more kind of a regular ticket price, not kind of inflated. But the Telugu model is definitely on a sliding scale based on how popular the actor is. Vishnu, I just saw. Yeah, you say could get Oscar nominations. I think, like I just, if you came in late, I described it as, I watched it last night, and the landslide scenes reminded me of 127 Hours. And interestingly, the music is A.R. Rahman, and that he also did the music for that that film, Survivor kind of film. Do I have Enric says, do I have any excitement for Brahmastra? Doesn't it feel like we've been waiting 3 million years for this film to come out? Like at this point, like I felt like when we got the trailer, I recorded a reaction, but I ended up not editing and posting. I don't know. I'm so late to the party on that one. But I've seen the trailer, like the one trailer with you know the booming voice and a Brahmastra. Like it's kind of like, I just feel like we're seeing Ranbir just standing there with Shiva's trident, and he's just kind of like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, the film itself could, but I almost feel like, can it live up to all the hype that they're trying to put on it? I don't know. I'm a little skeptical because I'm a little down on anything from Bollywood right now. Kezigan says, does the Indian humor translate well over subtitles? Okay, that's a great question. And that is one of the hardest things. Now, there's so much referencing lines from previous films. And this is why Rakes is so great. Because, for instance, in Vijay's film Master, when he was riffing, when people, his students or he would reference a line from a previous film, she put that in the subtitles. She said, this is a line from Pramam, or they're quoting this song from this old movie or whatever. And so she puts it in there, and she also makes sure that something that is a word play in Tamil is a wordplay in English. So she goes that extra mile of making sure that the humor comes across in the same way. And I have become pleased with myself, because if there's a visual funny thing, like for instance, how many times has the train scene from DDLJ been riffed on in other films, right? So it's sort of like the more films I watch, the more references like that do I get. But I know they're doing riffs in Malayalam films to old Mammootty and Mohanlal films that I'm not catching all of the humor. If somebody, it would be like in a Hollywood film if they said a line from The Godfather, right? Like if they said, I'm going to make him an offer, he can't refuse or whatever. Like it just that they, Hollywood audience would know that's a movie line that somebody is saying. And I don't always catch those. And certain, like last night, there was it wasn't a humor thing, but it was, Fahad Fazl's character is Malayan Kunji. He is prejudiced about caste, and so at some point he says a casteist slur, and the subtitle said that he had said a casteist slur, that he had said an insulting thing, and that's the kind of thing oftentimes goes over my head that I don't get all of the layers of certain scenes with things like that. But humor can be the hardest because it can definitely be wordplay that this word is like sounds like another word, and so that's what makes it funny. Yeah, I'll be in a theater and the people around me are like practically falling down in the aisles laughing, and I'm like, what just happened? Like, yeah. So when I'm in the theater, especially, is when I know I'm not catching it all because people around me be laughing. Also, though, I can get things like in Happy New Year, Deepika kind of riffs on the Chak to India speech, the speech. And so I was laughing my ass off, and my neighbor had never, who's from India, had never seen Chak to India. So I'm like laughing my ass off, and she's like, what? So when I can get those references, that's when that's when I get it. May I know your real name? It is Melanie Greenberg. JVF Hi-Fi. I get sucked into paying $42 for Saho. I feel your pain. Okay, because that is the one that I was thinking of. I took my husband to see that because I had made him see Bahubali. I'm like, you need to experience this in the theater. We're going to go see Prabhas, Saho. And I think our tickets it wasn't quite Bahubali price, but it was at least $25. And my husband in the middle of the film looked at me. He's like, how much did you spend on these tickets? Like, oh, it was painful. Wasn't that painful? Oh, man. Oh, you saw my 777 Charlie. Yeah, I was explaining that not many Kannada films play here in theaters. And so I have it of the different Southern films. Kannada is the one that I have seen the fewest of. But I do definitely enjoy Rakshit Shetty films. I've seen a few of his, and that was such an emotional film. Vishnu, like it's the way people call each other. I mean, Rakes is also good of leaving in certain words, and people ask me, well, do you understand anything of the other languages? And I think some of the words that I have learned to hear are some of the relationship words, or like if somebody is calling uncle or whatever, like I don't necessarily need to read the subtitles to know some of those relationship words. Saho in Hindi means parrot. Yeah, we bored for that one. It was, oh God. When will Prabhas like find a good script? Like, oh my God. His movies since Bahubali have just not impressed me. Like I'm a fan, but my God. Hussein says we should not be obsessed with Oscars. I think the Oscars are losing some of their importance, some of their cachet. But I will tell you, like in America, if something is even an Oscar nominated film, that means a lot of money as far as for that film, especially for small, tiny little independent films, to be able to put marketed as Oscar nominated, whether it's on streaming or whatever, like it makes them so much more money. So it is a huge financial thing, not just the honor of it. But definitely the sense, I don't know why there's certain countries that are sort of the darlings of the Oscar crowd. It's sort of like anything that comes out of Italy or I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just and now Korean films are having their moments. Um, but the sensibility of Indian films, there is kind of a somebody asked me, was the tonal shifts and some was that hard for me? And yes. And so that's why I'm thinking Malayalam films, since they're closer to what independent films are in Hollywood, may be an easier sell. And I don't know if a big bombastic RRR film is going to cross over necessarily to the kind of Oscar awards. Maybe it's just, it used to be you would think, what would a 65-year-old white man vote for? That's what's going to win the Oscars. That's not necessarily completely true anymore, but yeah, it's kind of stodgy and whatever. It's not necessarily the be all and end all. Yeah, Roddy Shyam, yeah, it was it had its moments, but I've just been disappointed. I'm just, I'm a Bravos fan, and I've just been disappointed. Like, come on, get some good scripts, my man. Anyway, all right, this has been super fun. Thank you all for joining me. And I will see you again on Sunday. I was just testing this out, and thank you all for your questions and your comments. It's been super fun, and maybe we'll do this more often. But I just wanted to test out the software before I tried everything on Sunday, before I told people I was actually doing it. So, all right. Thanks, everybody, and have a good night.